Hey guys, and welcome to episode number 79 of Diehlman at Halftime, the NBA podcast that tops all others. I'm your host, Larry Diehlman, joined by my co host, Christy Pietro. If you're joining us for the first time, it's great to have you. And if you've been a regular listener, welcome back. We have a lot to cover today and not a lot of time to do it. We'll look at a general overview of the NBA this week and then discuss some important topics across the association. Let's get into our content for the week. Probably one of the biggest stories from the NBA this week. Chris Paul was surprisingly cut by the LA Clippers after playing just 16 games this season in his second stint with the team. Chris Paul averaging career lows across the board. We've already discussed how he's going to retire at the end of this season. Head coach Ty Lue and CP3 not really on speaking terms at the end of CP3's tenure last week, and they were clashing over differing styles, apparently. NBA insider Chris Haynes even reported that Chris Paul told Kawhi to switch off Klay Thompson in a game against the Mavericks because Kawhi was struggling defensively, and assistant coach Jeff Van Gundy told Chris Paul, quote, "You might have had leeway in other places to change up defensive coverages, but you don't have that leeway here," which is interesting because the Clippers are spiraling out of control at 6 and 18, and they are 14th in the Western Conference.
I think the Clippers stadium, facilities, cafeteria, weight room, sauna, front office, coaching staff, training staff, sponsors, mascot, Steve Ballmer should be blown to smithereens for what they've done to Chris Paul as they have cut him. I don't care. You're a basketball team right now. You are at the bottom of the West. You had way higher expectations for this season. They've won one in every four games. And with the amount of talent they have, I know Kawhi missed some games and James Harden's been playing well, but you have a legend of the franchise who is calling the team out on their BS rightfully, standing up to Ty Lue, holding accountability, and you cut him. That's what this team needed is to cut Chris Paul, arguably their most tenured leader. It's ridiculous, I think. And I saw Ty Lue, a clip of him at practice, like laughing about Chris Paul. It's just ridiculous to me. I mean, this all kind of started in the offseason with the aspiration tree stuff. That Kawhi tree money, that whole deal, and Pablo Torre kind of busted them on that, and since then it's just been abysmal for the Clippers. It's been dysfunctional. It's been really not encouraging whatsoever, and for the amount of talent they have and how they're playing and the decisions they're making and the organizational dysfunction, the Clippers are a waste of a franchise right now. It's looking really bad for the Clippers.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Clippers are basically the little brother of Los Angeles. I don't think there's more than like 15 Clippers fans right now, and that says a lot because the Pelicans exist. I don't know, like they built that Intuit Dome. You have James Harden, Steve Ballmer seems like a nice guy, but at the end of the day, the Clippers, I don't know what they're doing. And that Jeff Van Gundy quote, if that's true, this is why they are definitely a dumpster fire at the moment. Then we also had another interesting story this week. LeBron James, his streak of scoring at least 10 points in a game consecutively has finally come to an end after 1,297 straight games. And this is regular season, by the way. So the Lakers beat the Raptors 123-120 in Toronto the other day at the buzzer after LeBron got the assist on a Rui Hachimura triple. LeBron ended with 8 points, a mark that he has not had, like below 10 points, since January 6th, 2007. That was almost 18 years ago, actually almost 19 years ago, excuse me. So Kevin Durant, Chris, is now the leader in consecutive games with at least 10 points at 267.
LeBron's washed. I mean, the guy can't even score 10 points anymore. No, but the streak ended as we all know. I really want to talk about the way it ended. To me, an instance like this is what makes basketball so beautiful and sports as a whole so beautiful. The waning moments of LeBron's legendary 10-point streak ending I think were really symbolic of his career and the type of player he is. So the Raptors sent the double at Austin Reeves, and he finds LeBron with just over 3 seconds left. LeBron's barreling towards the rim. He's only got Emmanuel quickly in his way, who comes in with the help defense. And this is a look LeBron probably likes to see, and he's probably getting to a shot he can probably make. And not only is the game on the line, but obviously the illustrious 18-year-long 10-point streak. He's sitting at 8 points right now. But the second he sees that help defense come in, he impulsively, almost mechanically finds a wide open Rui Hachimura in the corner who calls game. It was just an awesome moment. You know, his streak ending obviously is sad, but I don't think you could have drafted it up any better. LeBron's the all-time scoring leader. He's one of the most dominant offensive forces to ever touch a basketball, but his ethereal IQ for the game is what makes LeBron LeBron. You never have to question him making the right play or ignoring the best look for him or for any of his teammates. And again, I just don't think you could have written this up any better for the streak to end. A legendary streak, probably one of the most impressive streaks in basketball history, if not sports history. But again, the ending of it was just poetic and honestly will probably be one of my favorite plays of the year by the time the season ends.
Definitely poetic and just a great overall play. Despite sacrificing that streak, probably never going to see it again. But actually, the streak is still going if you want to count
In the
cities,
United States.
cities in America. So just because it ended in Canada, so our friends of the North, doesn't mean that it is not still going in America. So we'll see how that plays out in the near future. This episode is entitled Trading Places. So who's raising eyebrows at the moment?
So Giannis Antetokounmpo has been a hot topic of discussion lately after his non-contact calf strain, I believe, that is going to keep him sidelined for what they say is anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. And man, it really seems like it's gotten the gears turning, especially in the NBA insider circle of possible trade destinations for Giannis. So me and Larry got our gears turning on some Giannis trade destinations. We're gonna go back and forth here. Larry's gonna propose a trade to me as I'm the Milwaukee Bucks general manager. He's gonna propose a trade to me. I'm gonna accept or decline it. Then he's gonna become the Bucks general manager. I'm gonna propose a trade to him as another team, and we're gonna flip-flop back and forth. We're gonna see if we can hammer out a Giannis deal. Larry, if you'd like to kick us off. I'm going to get into my general manager attire in Milwaukee. My phone's on ringer. I'm ready.
All right, so I am calling up the Milwaukee Bucks. I am the general manager at the moment for the New York Knicks. Chris, I am going to offer you Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, 2 firsts and 3 seconds for Mr. Antetokounmpo. Now, my reasoning, Karl Anthony Towns has a player option in 27, 28, and he kind of has to be the cornerstone just because of the team that they have. Everyone's locked up for a while. Jalen Brunson's not going anywhere. You're not going to make a trade for Giannis with a guy like Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. It has to be Karl Anthony Towns. Mitch Robinson is a free agent this summer, and Deuce McBride is signed through next season. Mitch Robinson, he's not a great offensive option, but he has his defensive moments. Deuce McBride's a sharpshooter. And I was looking more so, I was trying to be a little more realistic for draft picks. So the Bucks have some draft picks coming up. They got to throw some seconds in there and try to make it as reasonable as possible. But you have to look at too, like what would the Bucks want? They get some defense, they get some sharpshooting, get a guy like Cat who can do a little bit of everything. And the Knicks, it's kind of hard to break up their roster. They don't have too many assets. So that is my trade proposal to you.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty pro Giannis trade to begin with. And even though I don't really know how to feel about the player return for Milwaukee here, you're definitely solving the big man issue. You're getting yourself an anchor in Mitchell Robinson and obviously a big who can be a number two, maybe even a number one option in Cat. He can sure as hell shoot a lot better than Giannis. And Deuce McBride helps with the guard depth beyond Ryan Rollins, who's been a bit of a revelation for the Bucks this year. I think I'd take that deal. I think I'd take that deal. So for the Knicks, you'd be looking at a lineup of Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and Giannis. I'm assuming I really don't like Giannis at the five. I think we've seen it out of him, and it's been a little bit too demanding. And I don't really think it just suits his skill set to be a full-time five. And also, I really don't love the idea of Giannis with a very ball-dominant point guard. I think it like obviously, he's enough of a talent, Giannis is, to where you'd kind of figure it out. And I think the Knicks would be a better basketball team. I think the fit's a bit questionable, but if I'm the Bucks, I'll take those picks and I'll take Deuce McBride and Cat, who could be my number one option. And I think I'm still selling tickets if I make that trade. Giannis leaving your organization is obviously a hit to the fan base. I think it'd be almost as scarring, I think, as the Mavericks trading Luka. But I think you can field a team that could be pretty competitive. I think maybe even more competitive than what you have with Giannis right now. And you get some good draft capital. So I think we have a deal there. I think I like that. Let's swap seats here. FYI, before we started this pod, I had Larry tell me which two teams that he was doing for this little experiment, and he picked probably the two most marquee, appealing destinations for Giannis. So I had to get a little creative here, which was fun. I think it was maybe more fun than picking the Knicks and the other team Larry selected. We did not disclose the offers with each other before the episode, only the teams, so we didn't have any crossover. But I'm gonna take it down to my roots, Larry, or my mama's roots, I should say, the motherland of Georgia, and I'm gonna play Atlanta Hawks general manager. I'm gonna call you up and say, I got somebody who'll sell some tickets now. And Trey Young, I got a former first overall pick. People forget, man. Zachary Risachet. And I'll give you a 2026 first. I think it's the most favorable of New Orleans and Milwaukee, so that will probably be a great pick. I'll send you a 2027 first, which is the least favorable of those two teams. I'll send you a 2028 first. It's my own pick, unprotected, and I'll send you a 2029 first round pick swap. So Trey, Risachet, three firsts, including one next year. That could be for this upcoming offseason. That could be very, very good, especially in such a loaded draft class and a 2029 pick swap.
So that Pelicans pick, I believe the Pelicans are losing that pick regardless, correct? Like the
Yeah,
the
I
Hawks are
don't think
getting
it
it.
has. I don't think it has any protections. Well, as long as it's more favorable than Milwaukee's, which it sure looks like it will be.
So Trey, Risachet, couple first. I'm gonna take that deal in a heartbeat. The only thing, if I'm the Bucks, that I'm really like concerned about is the fact that Trey Young's defense versus Giannis's defense, we are going to be in a free fall in defensive ratings. But I think you have to look at that trade and say that first round pick coming up is going to be absolutely beautiful. Risachet, former number one overall pick, playing some good ball with the Hawks. The thing of it is with this, with the way the NBA is structured now, you kind of have to offer at least three or four first round picks, or at least a couple first and a couple seconds. Because if a guy like Rudy Gobert, who can't really play offense, but he's a great defensive player, if he gets traded for four first round picks, then that's kind of the threshold. Except if you're the Lakers with Luka, and that was just kind of like a deal nobody saw coming, and no one else was competing with that trade. So I think that's one thing you have to look at, like the Luka trade aside. But you loaded it with draft picks, and I think Trey's time in Atlanta might be coming to an end eventually. So I will say yes to your proposal.
Yeah, and if that New Orleans pick ends up real high, you can just go ahead and replace Giannis with Cam Boozer, who not really a similar player play style wise, but a big, strong four who has superstar potential. And I'd be looking at a lineup of Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'll slide Jalen Johnson down to the three. I'll have a big three. I'll have Giannis at the four, and I'll have Porzingis or Okongwu at the five. And I think that's a lineup that can make some real damage in the East, especially considering how there's not really a marquee contender in the East right now. Obviously, there's some great teams, but I think that trade for Atlanta would automatically put me in the running to make it out of the East there, whereas I don't think they are right now. So once again, we will swap seats. I will take a plane 1,000 miles north to Milwaukee and turn my phone back on Ringer. What do you got?
So I will be calling you from the San Antonio Spurs. I think because of the fact that with the Spurs, you would pair Giannis and Victor Wembanyama, which would pretty much end the league as we know it, besides the Thunder. It would be Thunder Spurs Western Conference Finals pretty much every year. So if I am the Spurs, I am offering you a trade package starting with, because of the salary cap, De'Aaron Fox would be the starter in that package. Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, 3 firsts and 2 seconds for Giannis. De'Aaron Fox is signed with the Spurs through the 2030 season. Harrison Barnes is a free agent this summer. He's making 19 million this year, and Jeremy Sohan is a restricted free agent this summer. So you have some expiring contracts. You can put them on the Bucks this year. If you like them, great. If you don't, see ya. And then De'Aaron Fox could be a nice option at point guard after the Damian Lillard experiment failed miserably the last couple of years, and he's back in Portland. So you get a long-term starter at point guard. You get some expiring contracts. You get some nice picks. And the Spurs have a nice little war chest of assets with draft picks. Honestly, the Spurs, they're fine anyway. You still have Dylan Harper. You still have Stephon Castle. You still have Victor Wembanyama. You're really not breaking up your team. Oh, and Devin Vassell, too. You're really not destroying your team that much, and you'd be adding Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is the absolute crown jewel in this trade. So, Mr. DiPietro, De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, 3 firsts and 2 seconds.
Hell no. Nice try though. Nice try. I'm not taking that. It's not a bad offer. I just think I can do better. Especially considering I would be pairing up Dylan Harper, Giannis, and Wemby for the foreseeable future. I think I'd be royally screwing the league over in that case. And also, De'Aaron Fox is a great player. He's been playing really well without Wemby in the lineup. But he's already getting older now. What is he? 27 years old, about to turn 28. I mean, he's definitely still got plenty of quality years left in him. But I don't think Sohan is very enticing for me as a young chip in this deal. Harrison Barnes, whatever. I believe he's an expiring contract. He's fine. But I think the biggest part of this is I don't think San Antonio is going to pick inside the top 25 for a long time. For as long as Wemby's there, and now you're giving them Giannis. I mean, I don't know if they'll pick outside the top 28 for a couple of years. I think they might have like a pretty decent pick on their hands, that's not their own. But if we're just speaking in exclusively San Antonio's picks right here, that's not going to do it, especially just 3 picks. 2026, they own their own, or they can swap it for Atlanta's, which I don't think is going to be that good. They don't really own too many good picks. I'm gonna have to decline on that. That's not super enticing. I feel like I can do better for Giannis. I think the two previous offers were better if I'm the Bucks GM. It's definitely not a bad offer. And if those other offers we had drafted prior weren't on the table, I think I might even take it. Just because I kind of philosophically am not on board with trading Giannis. I think it's the right thing to do. But after hearing the previous two offers, I'm gonna have to hang up on that one. So you can fly back and take my chair. And I'm going to be traveling just a bit east, I want to say, to a team that I don't see really being discussed a lot in these Giannis trade destinations. But I think not only does it make sense for both sides here, I think it makes an already seeming contender in the East even stronger. And I think it'd make them the Eastern Conference favorite here, as I'm going to take the couple hour or so drive to Detroit, Michigan, and I'm gonna call up my buddy Larry Diehlman, the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm gonna send him an offer that I hope I have enough juice here to get something done while keeping Asar Thompson. I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna say, hey man, I've got Jaden Ivey, I've got Ron Holland, former fifth overall pick, just saying. I got Tobias Harris on an expiring contract to make the salaries work here. And you can have my first round picks unprotected until 2030. You can have my 26, 27, 28, and 29 first round picks. They're all yours. All yours. Take them off. I don't even want them. I don't even want them there. But I do want Giannis Antetokounmpo. What do you say, cousin? What do you say, man?
What do I say? I'm going to say, and no,
Oh,
absolutely not. I think you'd have to start, if I'm the Bucks general manager, you have to start with Asar Thompson. I know
boo.
Cade Cunningham's off the table. Duran, I think, would maybe be another person you could start it with. I think Asar would have to be in the package somewhere. I don't want Tobias Harris, respectfully. Ron Holland hasn't done too much yet. He's still kind of young. Jaden Ivey obviously is a good scorer, but I think I would need a little bit more. And those picks, the Pistons are destroying the Eastern Conference. I don't think they'd be high draft picks. I know you said until 2030, which is half of the decade still, but I think I would need maybe another player or just somebody a little bit higher to accept that trade. So I will respectfully decline.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to scam you getting away with that without including Duran or Asar Thompson. I thought I had enough, but clearly not. So, yeah, I mean, I had fun with that. I think these are all pretty fairly realistic destinations for Giannis. I made sure my salaries worked out. I believe yours did as well.
Maybe we'll see a dark horse. Maybe he'll get traded to like the Shanghai Sharks or like the Guangdong Tigers. I
You
don't
know what?
know.
I think some former NBA player just got a 6-month, $2 million deal in overseas for somebody. It was Malik Beasley. It was Malik Beasley. Wow, that's actually really interesting.
Speaking of the Pistons,
Yeah. Yeah. You just got a 6-month deal worth $2 million. I think Giannis would make over 100 million over there in Shanghai. But yeah, I think we came up with some really good trade packages and
yeah.
I don't know if a trade will happen in season here. I think
If Luca got traded, anything's possible.
I mean, yeah, I can't fight that, Larry. We'll see if this bleeds into the offseason though. But yeah, I had fun with that. That was fun.
Finally, let's go to our game of the week. This week's game of the week, we're going to do the San Antonio Spurs at LA Lakers. This game is on Wednesday, December 10th at 10 o'clock. And this is one of four quarterfinal matchups for the NBA's in-season tournament. The other ones, Thunder Suns, Magic Heat, Knicks Raptors. The Lakers are 17-6 and tied with Denver for second in the West. The Spurs 15-7 and fifth in the West. Lakers are coming off of that thrilling win in Philadelphia. And then in Toronto the other day, Austin Reeves dropped 44 points and 10 dimes. Meanwhile, for the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle are still out, respectively, with a calf strain and a hip flexor. But De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell have been taking care of that load in the absence of Wemby and Castle. Chris, the Lakers 7-3 at home. Spurs are 6-5 on the road. My prediction for this game, I'm taking the Lakers 117-109.
I'm taking the Lakers too. This is a really fun game, as is I think all of these quarterfinal matchups for the NBA Cup. We're 3 years into this thing, and I still don't really know how to feel about it. But what I do like about it is that it's just fun. It makes games feel bigger in a time of the year where basketball is kind of as dry as it gets, December basketball. But this is a really fun matchup, I think. San Antonio's played really well without Wemby. Not to the point where I'm saying they don't need Wemby. Like some people are probably saying in Atlanta, who is playing really well without Trae Young right now. I think there are very different situations. But yeah, I think they've won a decisive majority of their games without Wembanyama. De'Aaron Fox has really stepped up as the number one option. He had a little bit of a funky start to the year. People kind of questioned his fit in there with Dylan Harper, who was playing really well to start the season. But Fox has clearly taken the majority of the scoring load, and he's played really well. But the Lakers have too. These two teams are really close in the standings right now. And I think last night against Philly, we saw that LeBron is still capable of being LeBron and stepping up and making big shots when the game matters. He has not been totally resigned to the gel between Luka and Reeves, which it kind of felt like to start his return. It kind of just felt like he was doing all the middleman stuff and doing all the stuff off ball and again, like we mentioned in previous episodes, hunting mismatches and cutting and screening. But I'm going with LA in this one just because I just think Luka and Reeves are going to be tough for San Antonio to handle. Fox isn't the best defender, nor is Harper. I think they're kind of just going to overpower San Antonio. It's a shame we don't get to see Wemby in this game, who I think just returned to practice, but won't be back for the Lakers game. I'll take the Lakers. I think it'll be a close one. I think San Antonio will make it competitive, as they have in most games here without Wembanyama. I'll take the Lakers 105-100.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you haven't already, make sure to follow the podcast accounts, Chris and me on social media. The three podcast accounts on Instagram, TikTok, and X or Twitter are under @DealmanAtHalf. My personal X and Instagram are at Larry Diehlman. Chris's personal X and Instagram are at Chris Dippy. All 7 handles are in the description on Buzzsprout, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, although you can find Diehlman at Halftime on major podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, the main podcast website is on Buzzsprout. The website URL is dealmanathalftime.buzzsprout.com. Feel free to send a comment by using the Send Us a Text button located in each episode's bio. With the exception of Apple Podcasts, the text option is available on Buzzsprout and all of the major platforms. Your comment could end up in the fan mail section of the Buzzsprout website. And don't forget to spread the word about Diehlman at Halftime. See you next time, fellow Hoops fans.